everybody, and welcome to Pick Army Official Reveal Show Week 15. I'm John. That's Eric. The Army's spoken this week. Let's dive in and take a look. Buffalo minus 6 points at Denver. The Army likes Buffalo. Eric, let's dive in and tell us why.
Well, John, I think the success the Bills have had over the past few weeks, wins in prime time against some pretty good competition, has got the appetite to get behind them, particularly in the public eye, way up there. So I'm not surprised that this is one of the official picks, but I do disagree with this pick, and it's a pure number play as well as a home field advantage play, and let me explain. Since there are no more crowds at most of these stadiums, the home field advantage has really gone by the wayside, particularly in some of the louder stadiums. Like I'm thinking of Arrowhead. New Orleans has a great home field advantage because of the noise. That's gone away. But the one home field advantage that remains is Denver because of the high altitude. It's hard to catch your breath there. And even though these are professional athletes, when you get in the third and fourth quarter and you're quite literally sucking wind, that can take a lot of the wind out of your sails. Denver also has been a little undervalued. The difference between what they look like when Drew Luck is playing versus when he's not is a very, very different team. I think a lot of the public soured on Denver because of what happened with them having all three or four of their quarterbacks out when they got absolutely thumped at home by the Saints. So a lot of people have soured on Denver, but I disagree with the Army here. I think the value is on the home dog getting 6 points with Denver.
Yeah, I actually agree with this pick with the Army. This is a real team coming off a solid win against Pittsburgh. Josh Allen is having a great season, and the Bills' defense looks great. Denver does have that advantage with the home field, but they do not have an explosive offense. Definitely look for the Bills to cover this game. I think this is a road win for them. I think it might be tidy. Could be possible backdoor cover, but who knows what happens with that one. Any concerns there?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I disagree with the pick. That being said, look, you make some good points. Buffalo, their offenses look great. Josh Allen looks like he is shaping himself up to be the next Ben Roethlisberger. So there are some really good things here. I certainly don't think that an upset is brewing for Denver, but that's a pretty good amount of points to be giving a fairly underrated team. I also think when you look at who Buffalo has faced, I mean, you talked about a really exhilarating win against Pittsburgh last week. Is there an opportunity for a letdown here? Is this a potential letdown spot, particularly on a short week? They played Sunday night, and now they're playing on the road on Saturday afternoon. So those are things you do have to factor in, particularly when you have a spread as big as 6. Now, it's not 7. At 7, then there's clear value on Denver, and they probably would have gotten into my best bets of the week. But as it stands, just a slight disagreement with the Army on their Buffalo pick.
Yeah, I guess I could see where the slight disappointment comes in, but with Miami nipping at their heels and them wanting to lock up this division, this is a game they need to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I say, I agree with you, but the motivation is definitely favors Buffalo. So again, not one of my best plays on Denver here, but just a slight disagreement.
Green Bay minus 8 hosting Carolina. The Army likes Green Bay. Eric, thoughts on this pick?
This is my best bet of the week. Strong agreement on Green Bay. I think this one turns into a blowout. And for those of you who like the adjusted lines like I do, Green Bay minus 9.5, minus 12.5, minus 16.5, and even minus 19.5 at probably close to 4-1 odds are all pretty good plays. I think Green Bay wins this one by 3 touchdowns. Carolina's defense has really struggled. Green Bay's offense is humming. Aaron Rodgers is gunning for his 3rd MVP. And just some interesting stats on Carolina here, if I may, real quick. Carolina's defense, 22nd in opponent yards per play, 20th in third down defense, 28th in opponent completion percentage. If you remember, Carolina spent their entire draft haul on the defensive side of the ball this past April. This is a young, improving defense, but they're not there yet, and they're about to play one of, if not the best offenses in the NFL. Big agreement. Not only one of my official plays, but my best bet of the week. Green Bay minus 8. Total agreement with the Army on this one.
I agree as well. Aaron Rodgers, Pro Bowl, if not MVP caliber season. Defense is starting to look good. Three solid wins the past couple weeks and locked up the division last week. Any concerns at all with that pick there, Eric?
There are a few. Green Bay's defense, 28th in red zone defense. So they are the fifth worst in the NFL when it comes to allowing the opponent to score a touchdown when they cross Green Bay's 20. But that gets balanced out by the fact that, and you had just mentioned these last three games, the Packers offense, 90% of the time they've crossed the opponent's 20, they have scored a touchdown. That's the best in the NFL. This offense is first in yards per play, first in red zone scoring. So even though the Packers do have some issues, a couple of blemishes as far as their overall defensive performance, this offense is not going to get slowed down by Carolina, which is why we see a lot of points coming from the Packers. It'll be interesting to see how many points Carolina can muster, but I don't think they'll be able to keep pace. Again, best bet of the week for me. Big agreement with the Army on the Packers.
Green Bay's aerial attack on display yet again for another week. Miami -1.5 hosting New England. The Army likes Miami. Erik, does this one make sense, buddy?
It does. Big agreement, and this was actually one of my official plays as well. I like Miami here because the number is manageable, -1.5 only. When this gets to -3, it's a different story, but only -1.5. It's essentially a pick 'em. I mean, a 21-20 win for Miami, and therefore a loss against the spread isn't out of the question here, but it's a manageable spread with a significantly better roster, a significant edge in motivation. Miami needs this game. The AFC wild card hunt is going to be very competitive. So Miami really needs this game. I thought Tua looked pretty good against Kansas City last week, and then this defense. Just a few stats to throw at you. Miami ranked number 1 in third down defense, second in points per game allowed. Conversely, New England, they're 27th in points per game on offense and red zone scoring. So this is a really limited offense. I think the Cam Newton experiment is over, and the verdict is in that this guy is going to have trouble continuing to be a starting NFL quarterback. And then also, too, that there a lot of pros talk, a lot of professional handicappers talk about what they call the dream crusher or the backbreaker, that game that really makes it clear to an NFL roster that they're not going to go to the playoffs, that the season is more or less over. And that thumping by the LA Rams 2 Thursdays ago was New England's last game. Typically, teams come out flat after the quote-unquote dream crusher. I think that's the situation here. So big agreement with the Army on me. A great number here, only -1.5 with a significantly better team at home. Big agreement with the Army, Miami -1.5.
Agree. This was also one of my official picks. I've been riding Miami all season, and I think that this is a good pick here. Tua's looked good. He looked good last week, and the Dolphins have a real defense. They played the Chiefs tough last week, and the defense showed up, and then Tua put together a good second half. So I think that's going to come into play against this team. New England's done. As you said before, Cam Newton is not the quarterback of the future for New England. I think they're definitely going to be looking for it. I know this is a contract year for Cam, but I mean, he's looking for another uniform, I believe. Should we have any concerns with this pick at all, sir?
Yeah, 2 words. Bill Belichick, 26-5 in his career. This is including when he was back at the Browns. 26-5 in his career, straight up against rookie quarterbacks. So as an underdog here, obviously, if they were to win, they obviously get the cover. So that's the real concern here. And then secondarily, you just said it, Cam Newton is playing for another contract. So I think the effort is going to be here. This guy wants to stay in the league as long as he can. Maybe the game's passed him by. Maybe it hasn't. I mean, you have to give Cam Newton this. His surrounding cast on offense leaves quite a bit to be desired. Not a lot of offensive playmakers, some leaky offensive line issues. So, has Cam really had the opportunity to shine? I think that's a debate that would take a little bit longer than we have here. But those are the 2 concerns. The best head coach of all time in division, and then is Cam Newton ready to pack it in? I think not, because he is playing for a contract. Again, all that aside, those are minor concerns here. I think the Dolphins are absolutely the play, and I'm in agreement with the Army.
Kansas City -3 at New Orleans. The Army likes the Chiefs. Tell us why, buddy.
Kansas City Chiefs, first in yards per play, second in points per game. This is an offense that scores and scores often. Now, they are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games. So that's why you see a lot of professionals, heavy money coming in on the Saints who opened at +4 to 4.5, and it's now +3. I think this line actually gets down to the Saints +2.5. So Kansas City -2.5 to 2, maybe even 1.5, as money continues to come in because Drew Brees is playing. However, I actually think that favors Kansas City a bit. Is Drew Brees going to be a little rusty? I think the answer to that question is yes. And also, that 0-5 against the spread record makes Kansas City that much more attractive. Look, the Chiefs, they are the best team in the NFL when they play to their potential. They haven't in a number of weeks. This is a Super Bowl preview. I think they come out sharp. This also was one of my official plays for Pick Army. Big agreement with the Army here on the Chiefs. Again, though, I do just want to say for our closing lines, it was Kansas City -3. But if you're going to bet this one, hang tight because it's going to get down to -2.5 or even -2. So you're going to get a much better number. That being said, as long as it's 3, at 3.5, I might go Saints. But at 3 and under, big agreement with the Chiefs.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I disagree with this one. Both teams need a win, and coming off the loss against the Eagles, the Saints definitely need to bounce back. I think they rally around Drew Brees. I don't necessarily think he's going to be out there for more than maybe 75% of the snaps. I think they've used Taysom Hill enough, and he's familiar enough with the offense that he can be out there as a threat to throw it as well. So I think they mix that in a little bit. New Orleans defense is tough, and they're playing on the turf. So I give this to them. They also have the best kicker in the league. So 3 points, I think that's manageable for them. Any concerns with this one then?
Yeah, Saints 4th best on defense in points per game allowed. So as you had said, this is a real defense. So that is certainly going to be a concern here. Kansas City was able to get some points against Miami, who has a slightly better ranked defense when they played the Dolphins last week. So Kansas City can move the ball even on good defenses. But I will say this, I disagree with one of the points that you made, which is that because this is on the carpet indoors in New Orleans, that favors the Saints. If there were fans in the stands, yes, there's a home field advantage. But the Chiefs are the fastest team in the NFL. Tyreek Hill comes to mind. Even Sammy Watkins, who's been banged up. Mahomes can move around. So I think the speed that comes with the carpet actually favors the Chiefs in this instance, which is another reason why I like them. So, John, you and I tend to be on the same page with both things, man. I think this is actually one of the first times that we've disagreed. But, yeah, I understand your thinking. I think the Saints defense is actually a little overrated. I think, if you can believe it, Kansas City, because of what they've done to bettors, breaking their hearts over the last 5 weeks, I think their offense is a little underrated. I think they come out real sharp here. And a big agreement with the Army, as I said.
Nice job. Thanks again, man. Good looking in that one there, bud. I know that we're disagreeing on that one. That's kind of why we watch, right? So that we can talk about it and kind of throw dirt in the other one's eyes on Monday or Tuesday. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch and see what happens there. Well, everyone, there you have it. The Army has spoken. I'm excited to see what happens this weekend. Obviously, there's a lot of agreement and disagreement going on this show. But I want to thank everybody for getting their picks in. And please tune in next week as we'll be hosting our Week 15 recap show. Erik, anything else you'd like to go over before we sign off, my friend?
Just want to thank everybody for getting their picks in at pickarmy.com, where you can form mini betting syndicates with your buddies. It's easy, it's free, it benefits some great U.S. veterans charities, AMVETS, the Navy SEAL Foundation, and the Armed Services Arts Partnership. Check us out when you get a chance, pickarmy.com.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Good luck, and have a wonderful day. We will see you out there.
Okay.